Q&A show 22. We're back. Flex.
Good afternoon. Good morning.
No, it's afternoon, mate.
It's afternoon.
It's morning.
You might go out in the morning.
Whatever you're watching this, hello. As always, intro with the show. Naked Running Band, InnerFight 15, discount 15% off. We've gone on about it enough. If you haven't seen Marcus's achievement of 30 marathons in 30 days, while using a naked running band, that's all he used to carry his stuff in, and you're not sold on that, then this isn't the show for you, I think.
Speak to Chris Baker. Also speak to Gaetal Daka.
Yeah.
The two new converts.
And InnerFight 30 will get you 30% off with puresportsnutrition.me. Good. Straight in this week.
Let's get into it.
3 questions to get through. The first one from @JLegs11. When hit with a stitch, any words of wisdom or approaches? Go? I hate getting a stitch. They're horrible.
It's the worst.
I commonly find stitches normally come down to either timing of food before starting exercise or actually irregular breathing. So not doing a lot of shallow breathing can cause it's a spasm in your diaphragm. So trying to relax a little bit more, control your breathing, breathe deeply in and deeply out when you actually have the stitch, and just try and consciously relax around that stomach area will help. It's also worth just, if it's really getting bad, just stop. Calm down for a minute or so and then carry on. Other than that, you got to just run through it. If it's in a race, you just run through it.
Yep, that's the short answer. I think Tom's right. The consistency of breathing and just being relaxed is definitely part of it from what I've seen historically. And I think one of our guys had real success with, and obviously it's going to depend on how hard you're running and how hard you're breathing, but almost trying to sort of cycle through breaths off a step cycle. So if you're breathing every 3 steps, just try and be really consistent with that. And I think just also having something else to focus on helps that process along too. That might help.
Yeah, hope that helps. We'll see Jill in Bahrain next week.
Yeah. And you've got some kit from her, right, as well?
Yeah, I've got a little tri-suit ready to go.
Awesome. All the kit.
Next one from Matt F5286, another one of our guys. I love this question, especially knowing it comes from Matt.
He doesn't mind a carb or two, our Matt.
How many carbs is too many carbs in the days leading up to a marathon?
All right, I'll lead with this one. So I find the concept of an old-fashioned carb load an absolute nonsense. And it amazes me that Ironman have pasta parties the night before races and all of it. Are you with me on this, Tom, or not?
100%.
Maybe it's just me.
I'm there with you, 100%.
So, look, we can only store as humans a finite amount of carbohydrate or glycogen, which however you want to call it, and it's usually somewhere between 2,000 to 2,500 calories worth, and anything over that is going to turn to fat. And I think it's also worth noting that if you're really, really sort of carb loading up, that you're going to be sort of water molecules will attach themselves to those carbs as well. So you're going to be heavy. So I think whilst you obviously want to make sure that you're not starting empty, I think this sort of concept of taking massive amounts of carbohydrate on board before any race is a bit daft. But what I would also do is, especially if you're generally eating fairly low carb or sort of neutral carb anyway, is get that done. Let's say you race on a Saturday, I'd be sort of gently carb loading Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday to make sure that if there's any sort of gastric fallout from that, for want of a nicer way of putting it, you've got time to clear that up.
Yeah. You're also taking a reduction through your training in the weeks leading up to a marathon as well. So you're naturally, if you carry on eating the same, so you carry on fueling as if you were still training hard, you're getting a natural carb load anyway. Yeah. And like you say, the old days of shoveling plates of pasta down, I'm amazed how often it is still done.
Yeah.
I mean, more often than not, it's still happening.
Well, Ironman still do it, right? They have a pre-race pasta party, and I don't know what's in it because I've never been to one. But
no, I've never been either.
It's just amazing.
But I'm also thinking in terms of absolute, like how many is too many. Well, if your body's used to taking on 400 grams of carbs in a day, and you then suddenly start shoveling in 600, you're going to find that really hard to stomach.
Yeah.
So actually, you should know whether or not you stand by counting your macronutrients or calories, whatever. I'm not one to say about that, but what I am one to say is you need to be aware of what it is. So whether that's 1 week out of your month, or a day in your week, you actually find out how much are you eating. So just so you're aware of it, and then you can make a much more accurate and informed decision leading up to your race week. Otherwise, you're just guessing.
Yeah.
Like, you're guessing that you normally eat this much, so I'm going to eat that much.
Yeah.
You should really know.
Yeah. And Matt's a big boy, so we would assume a sort of a BMR of somewhere in the region of 2,000 calories a day. If you're sort of neutral fueling that to sort of keep your weight fairly constant, with one session of training per day, that might be 2,600-700 calories a day. And if you're eating that throughout the course of your pre-race week and not training hard, that's going to naturally and organically top up your tanks. But Tom's right. Like, you've got to know roughly what you're doing normally anyway, because I think, especially when you've got a bit more time on your hands, it's easy to get really bored and just start shoveling food in the whole time.
And it's also a good time to experiment in the weeks leading up to the marathon. Like, you should be replicating your race day at least 3 times before you actually do race day. Yep. And that's a chance to try meals out before the night before. Try taking on a little bit more. If you've got your long run on a Friday, as most people do here, or a Saturday, try, like, on the Wednesday, start having a bit more food. How do you feel the next day? And then the next day you're going to be topped up, ready to go. So you might not need to take on as much the night before, because it can affect sleep. So maybe the Wednesday's too close to the long run. You need to try it on the Tuesday. And there's a load of ways to do it. Yep. But I think you need at least 3 or 4, like, replica race days before the big day comes around.
We'll figure it out. Matt's racing next weekend, so.
Oh, Matt.
Nothing like leaving it late in the day.
Yeah, but equally, he's experienced enough.
Yeah. He's going to be fine.
Enough to know.
Matt's going to be absolutely fine. I guarantee it.
There you go, Matt. Guaranteed.
Guaranteed. You heard it here first.
Mate, coach's nightmare. Never guaranteed. Good. Last question today from @RxLlamaK. Spicy one. Do you recommend supplements for performance like creatine, glycerol, and nitrate containing products? Creatine, I definitely know of. Don't know about glycerol.
No.
To be honest, it's a type of triglyceride, a fat. So yeah, I don't know if that's a performance supplement.
A question would be what sort of event?
Yeah.
Because if it's a 3-minute CrossFit workout, that might be different than what you might take before a marathon or an Ironman.
Yeah, performance is a broad word, isn't it?
Yeah.
Nitrate containing beet juice. You're a fan of that, mate?
Yeah, I am actually, and I have to say I was a little bit. What's the word? Unsure, and I've used the Beat It shots on a fairly sort of structured protocol before my last 2 races.
Yeah.
And I've felt actually great in both races. But it's not just shovel a load down the day before you race. It's sort of like a 7 to 10 day process before that.
Yeah.
But I would totally endorse the nitrate sort of Beat It style stuff. I think it works really well.
I'm always a bit wary of this question. I will recommend things to athletes that I've worked with for a while. Once I know how they work and a little bit more about their body, then I'll start to suggest options, but I'll certainly never say you need to do this works or this doesn't, because a lot of it comes down to the individual athlete.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, some of them are proven. Like, creatine seem to have general day-to-day good effects for endurance athletes particularly as well. So
yep.
Good. I hope that helps. That is, again, it for this week. We'll be back next